I'm sick and tired of this trash. Today, we're talking about the top 10 characters that need a rework. A lot of them being iconic. Why do they suck so bad? Now, you see, back in my day, we would have what's called reworks. Now, all you youngins are used to Datacons, the Omicrons. Ah, man, I think we're way past those days of the good old-fashioned rework for just one day you wake up and, oh my, Darth Vader got so much better. Oh my, Palpatine just got better with zero extra effort on your part. Well, I think we're past those days, so we gotta be kind of realistic here. When I say rework, I think we all should consider Omicrons, because CG has said they don't like doing reworks that much for free. And I'm gonna start off this list with Darth Maul. Now, Darth Maul right now is getting a big boost through Datacrons, but that's only a temporary thing, and it's got a lot of paywall elements to it and heavy RNG elements, and most of you guys probably won't touch it. What I'm talking about, if not a normal rework, let's do what made Darth Maul come back into favor. They slapped on a Zeta on the Dancing Shadows. Boom! This character woke up and it was meta. I want this guy to be better. It's Darth frickin' to the M-A-U-L. All they have to do again, a few ways that CG likes to go about revitalizing some factions. They throw on an Omicron, which is option number 1, or number 2, they add other characters with direct synergies to a particular faction that lifts them up, i.e. the Tuskens. Fun fact! In 2022, I made a similar video, and I said Tuskens need some love, and they got love. So I guess what I'm saying here, someone in this list is gonna get better. Next up on my list is Princess Leia. Now, yes, Bausch Leia is really amazing with Jabba the Hutt. We all know that, but I really, really want Princess Leia to be good. Now, of course, right now, we're kind of in this heavy speculation community that we're gonna get a Galactic Legends Leia, which I don't think is a very far-fetched idea. I think it's very much possible. I want them to just completely let out the demons from hell on Princess Leia, one of the most iconic characters in Star Wars history, not really having a home here. And truthfully, the issue is here, the lack of tags. She's just a rebel, that's it. Well, the game has evolved a lot more beyond just being a rebel. You need tight synergies with sub-factions of the rebels. Rogue One, you got Sana Starros, rebels / scoundrels. Saw Gerrera, whatever the hell he's doing. Mon Mothma, I want them to just give her a tag, even if it's a rebel fighter tag. Come on, I mean, yes, it would be kind of crazy seeing Leia with Mon Mothma, but let's do it. There's already crazier things in the game. Man, take a look at that. I guess to be fair, you could use her with Akbar Omicron, but even he's not really the hottest thing on the block. I actually forgot she does have an Omicron, and she's still not being used all that much. Oh my, a little embarrassing. I forgot about that. I actually realized there's a lot of rebel stuff on this list here. It's almost like it's perfect for CG to pick a bunch of underrated, undergeared rebels and make them required for something. Wedge Antilles, I guess Biggs could be thrown in here. Now, Wedge and Biggs were supposed to be really good at Saw Gerrera. I'm not quite seeing it right now. So there was an effort to be made to make him more useful. I still don't think he's very much loved. And don't even get me started on his ship. We've been getting the frickin' Red 5 teasers for who knows how long. I think they stopped doing it recently because it got a little old. It's been almost a year since they started it. This guy used to be meta at one point. Biggs and Wedge completely dominated the game for so long. And now he's not really doing all that much. Now, the good thing is, unlike Leia, he at least has a rebel fighter tag. You know, people try to use him with Saw Gerrera, so you could try to do something. I just still feel like he's not quite getting as much love as the guy should. More importantly, I really think we need to get Akbar, the Red 5, up and running. How about we break up some of this rebel shenanigans and get into this guy? This guy I've been preaching for years and years and years to get something a little bit more. This is kind of the B2 super battle droid, but just for director Krennic. What a squander of talents that they're leaving on the table. Krennic's guard is such a useless thing because Krennic himself isn't that great. I guess technically we could throw Krennic on this list. It would be great to see him a little bit more helpful. But I really want to lean into, because Death Trooper's not trash. You know, he's kind of usable, of course, with Iden Versio. I think he should have a higher purpose in life. We see Death Troopers side by side with, for example, Grand Admiral Thrawn and many other high-level ranking Imperial in the Empire. Wouldn't it be great if instead of just Krennic's Guard, it's Imperial Guard or something like that? This can work whenever there's an Empire lead. And this really gets me going. Man, imagine if Krennic's Guard unique ability could work with Lord Vader. It feels like it would throw a lot of disruption out of there. Being able to get turn meter on Death Trooper could be nasty. Might even throw up, like, for example, the Bounty Hunter counter. If he's constantly throwing out Death Trooper Grenade, doing the buff immunity, healing immunity, cooldown increases, that could be quite nuttier. Emperor Palpatine lead. Thrawn lead. We literally saw Death Trooper Thrawn. This character was solely designed for Rogue One. Come on, let's wake up. It's such a simple fix, I think. The good news is, though, this is definitely a usable character, though. I'm putting HK-47 on the list. Now, the good thing is, until you get Darth Malgus, you could use HK-47, but oftentimes people kick him to the curb and rather use Sith Marauder or an Enfys Nest or something like that. I feel like now, especially, at least in my neck of the woods, HK-47 doesn't really have a home. Not really a home in a droid team. Sith Empire doesn't really need him. Malgus for sure doesn't use him. I'm a little sad in that HK-47 went from like a must-have for Darth Vader and then quickly got knocked down to just kind of sitting here and doing nothing. Now, of course, maybe they could add an Omicron on the guy. He's definitely right for that. I don't think he has a tag problem. I think the problem is there's a lot of great cooks in the Sith Empire kitchen, and he doesn't do that much on defense nowadays. But man, it kind of sucks seeing HK-47 not being utilized as much. So I'm actually quite mad about this. We're working on the free-to-play farming guide right now, and Phoenix is not really a great first team to go for anymore. They just completely ruined how to farm her. She went from a character you could farm to 7 stars reasonably in like under 2 weeks to now a multi-month farm. Aside from that, which it kind of sucks, I guess the good news is at least you farm her ship at the same time for the Chimera. This is a character that, man, it's more the Phoenix in its entirety. We've been asking for a long time to make something happen. Yes, granted, there's Omicrons on her, but it's just not quite enough. It would have been great. The saying has been going for a while. Can we just spawn the last member of the Phoenix crew? I don't think that's going to be enough, though, nowadays. Just being able to spawn the 6th member of the Phoenix crew, it's not going to be all that great. Truthfully, I think the Cal Kestis Omicron maybe should have been on Phoenix somewhere, so Fulcrum Ahsoka Tano can work with them rather than Cal Kestis, which was a little weird. Unless I'm forgetting something, there wasn't really any interaction of Fulcrum Ahsoka and Cal Kestis. It's just in general, the Phoenix is a team that falls off fairly quickly, and the rule of thumb has been once you unlock Thrawn and Palpatine at low levels, sub 85, you kind of just stop upgrading them at that point. Even for the pilots myself, I really don't upgrade most of them unless I really have to for a requirement or if they're really important. Not really all that great of a faction. So it's not just Hera, it's kind of the entirety. So this kind of leans into, again, some of the crazy speculation. It's not even crazy about a new Endor Leia or maybe a General Leia from the sequel trilogy, whatever the case might be. Ewoks. Now, Ewoks are, again, kind of like the Phoenix, where you get into that gear 11, 10, maybe a 12, and you kind of cut it off there. There really isn't a need to go all in on the Omicron. Yeah, it makes it more usable, but not really like crazy that much more usable. It's a faction that's kind of necessary, but it kind of sucks you just let this team collect dust afterwards. You know what I mean? So we're going to call out the entirety of the Ewok faction. Now, ignore my relics. I decided to try to be crazy. I'm buying into the Ewok conspiracy that they're great. Well, they really aren't. I took them to Relic 5, kind of regret it. Although the Pop Blue Zeta does come in handy once every couple galactic challenges. This is easily a faction, kind of like the Tuskens, where you can maybe throw in a new character somewhere and make him usable. All they got to do is get rolling. They could do something crazy like Phasma, where her Omicron or TIE Pod's Omicron gives her like 100 speed, really getting out there fast. And if they can start rolling, simple tactics will start getting in there, and they'll get lots of Terminator and kind of be like an Imperial Trooper team chugging along. The problem is you need some really absurd speeds otherwise to get them moving, and it's not very practical in a day where... And you know what? While we're disgracing the Ewok faction, we're going to talk about the Tatooine version of Ewoks, the Jawas. Now, the Jawas have become an important function of Galaxy of Heroes, where they have call-outs for the Crate Dragon, but it's just a fact. They are the worst faction when it comes to... And maybe that should be okay. We already have enough Old Republic teams. We got the Mandalorians, and then, of course, there's multiple Hutt Cartel teams out there that get the job done. So it's not like we need Jawas. There's not a lot of need to upgrade the Jawas. It's been an absolute blast seeing Tuskens kill it in Galaxy of Heroes. Jawas, aside from the occasional Geonosian team, they're there's really not a whole lot you can do with them. And again, this team has an Omicron, and sometimes an Omicron just isn't enough to get the ground running for some teams. It's a nice start. It's also for territory wars, but even in territories, it's just okay. It's not mind-blowing, and I think it'd be just, again, Tuskens are getting love. Why is it Jawas on the other side of the fence, they aren't getting the same attention? Huh? We got two more on the list, and I'm saving the most debatable, controversial one for dead last. We are going to talk about Luke Skywalker. Boy! Suffers a similar problem like Princess Leia, lack of tags on him. I often forget this myself, but he does have an Omicron on him for territory wars. Actually, not too long ago, too, right? We have you know what? It's one of those things where we have so many layers of issues. Like, even in Grand Arena, I'm hypercritical of some factions and teams out there because in a world where you only have so much on offense and only so much you need to put on defense, some teams, even though they might be decent, just don't get their spot in the light. They actually show that they're pretty good. And territory is kind of in a similar situation like that, and especially Grand Arena. When you have so many other better teams, there's not really an incentive to go after these Omicrons, so this could be good. Again, I kind of would love to see Luke Skywalker Farm Boy get tagged so maybe he can work better with maybe Saw Gerrera, or maybe he can work great with Mon Mothma, giving you some more flexibility. So lack of tags is the problem. Now, I'm going to maybe let this one slide because technically Farm Boy Luke Skywalker, in a canon perspective, isn't like some hyper-powered, bold, brave hero. This is the youngling, the seedling of what eventually becomes Luke Skywalker that we truly come to love. So maybe I'll let this one slide. But I hate when iconic characters are just kind of sitting around. And look, I have an account that's pretty big, not the biggest, but definitely big. It's only Gear 8. There's like no incentive to get him up and running. Maybe give him a ship. Maybe it'll get people up and running a little bit more. I don't know. Now I'm saving my controversial one for last. I love just getting you guys fired up. I'm putting at the bottom of the barrel, R2-D2 needs to get a rework. Ooh, I can taste it. Actually, I think a lot of you guys would agree with me on this. Out of all the legendaries in Star Wars Galaxy, R2-D2 is probably the least legendary feeling character. And this is one of the few characters that kind of existed throughout, all the movies for the most part. And truthfully, the biggest issue is he doesn't have a home. Commander Luke Skywalker, the kitchen's full, and he's not better than, for example, Chewbacca, Han, C-3PO, 3POC, even Old Ben. They actually took his kit practically, put it in Datacron form the previous season to basically kind of make him exist through the 3POC Datacron. Having a passive cleanse is great off critical hits, it really is. But when you only have 5 slots and the Rebels are already taking a bunch of turns, it's not really the most useful. Of course, he has uses. I don't want to disregard that. Being able to have stun on a basic, the stealth mechanic is nice. But otherwise, for a legendary character that the caliber isn't quite there, and especially one of the most iconic characters, I'm sure if you ask your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandma, they're gonna be like, oh, hell yeah, that's R2-D2. It gives me a problem when this boy isn't getting the work done. So again, this is a character that's ripe for Omicrons. The great thing is he is kind of plug and play in a lot of different teams out there. He has the tags, but no home. If they either give him an edge or form a new team, this character's gonna be a lot more valuable, and boy, would that make me happy. Gonna wrap it up for our top 10 that need reworks in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. Darth Maul, if I had to pick one, that's the one I want to see get a rework, or let's be realistic. In Omicron, there's a lot of leftover Sith that could really use a home, and he was great for that. That's my pick if I had to pick one. Last time I made this video, Tuskens came to life. What more could happen? What Omicrons would you like? What reworks would you like? I doubt that's gonna happen. Thank you for watching. Leave that like. Hope you had a lot of fun here. Wherever you might be, enjoy your life, and always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today.